pissed.
Vlog every damn day.
Hello, Jimmy-Teens. Welcome to another episode of Once Upon a Thursday. Today I am reviewing the episode, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. This episode has been one of my favorites so far, but it has also been one of the ones that pissed me off the most because the sex god sheriff, who has been my favorite gorgeous man of this show, is now dead. Incentive for watching this show? Gone. There's no more. You know, in all honesty, this is not an episode that I hate. I just hate that this character is dead. So let's talk about the episode real quick in review. In fairy tale world, Snow White and the Queen are mourning the death of Snow White's father. Meanwhile, it is revealed that Regina is the one who actually killed him. No big shock there. Regina looks for a way to kill Snow White, but because the entire kingdom is loyal to her, she has to find someone else who will kill her. So she finds the huntsman, who has a pet wolf who has discolored eyes. One is bright red and one is jet black. This huntsman is accredited to having no heart because his parents abandoned him to the wolves and he was raised by wolves. And that's why he has a wolf as a pet / best friend. Regina sees that he has no heart and decides to hire him to kill Snow White because she thinks that he will have no emotional connection to him. Unfortunately for Regina, Snow White is able to turn the huntsman. The huntsman spares Snow White, as in every version of the story, kills a stallion, uses the heart and gives it to Regina, who discovers the plot, rips out Huntsman's heart and puts it in her vault of hearts and threatens him that if he ever goes against her in any form that she will crush his heart and kill him. I like this plotline a lot better than the last one because I feel like it was a lot less convoluted, and I like the idea that Regina takes people's hearts and keeps them in a vault and uses that to control them. In Human World, Sex God Sheriff in his last episode. How sad. He's at a bar drinking, he's shooting darts, and he sees Emma is mad at her that she's not talking with him, runs out and kisses her. Then he starts to remember fairy tale world. But to him, he doesn't know what it is, so he starts pursuing whatever it is that he is trying to understand, this memory of his. He goes and bangs Regina one last time, realizes that he feels nothing for her, and then in a kind of cool, shocking twist, he sees the wolf from fairy tale world and starts chasing after it. Now we see Mr. Gold once again in this episode, and Mr. Gold informs the sex god Sheriff that there are no wolves in Storybook, but that he hopes that Sheriff finds whatever he's looking for. I should mention that Sheriff went to Henry to find out what Henry knew about him, and Henry convinced Sheriff that he was actually the huntsman. Emma joins up with Sheriff, who helps him pursue the wolf into a graveyard where they find a giant crypt that has an emblem on it that Sheriff remembered from one of his dream memories. Now, according to Henry, what this symbol is the symbol that is on the Queen's vault. Emma and Sheriff go into the crypt, in which Sheriff is trying to figure out if there's a secret vault or a secret room inside of it that he can find where his heart is, because he is convinced that his heart is in this vault. Unfortunately, they do not find it because Regina shows up and tells Sheriff and Emma that this happens to be the crypt where her father is buried, which is true and untrue because in the end of the episode, Regina moves the stone coffin, pushes it aside to reveal a staircase which goes down into a secret vault that has all of her hearts stored in boxes. Then at the end of the episode, it kind of fell apart when Regina killed the sheriff and then ruined the rest of my day. So that's what happened. In general, this whole episode reminded me of Snow White and the Huntsman featuring Kristen Stewart, almost like Snow White and the Huntsman borrowed from this episode. And am I the only one who kind of had like a what the F moment when the sheriff started talking at the beginning and I realized he had a very thick accent? Because either he's never talked very much in previous episodes that I haven't noticed it, or he's toned down his accent in previous episodes, because I noticed it prominently in this episode, and I feel like before I never noticed his accent. I really liked the story progression of this episode. I felt that it flowed a lot better than other ones. I liked the tie-ins between the fairy tale world and the human world, and I liked that they actually meshed this time. I feel like what Once Upon a Time is trying to do is kind of do what Lost did, where they incorporate what's going on in real time compared to what happened in the past. But where Lost really got steps ahead is that their flashbacks really corresponded well with what was going on in the present, and I feel like with Once Upon a Time, there's been a lot of flashbacks that are going on that don't really correspond with what's going on in Human World, and I feel like this one really meshed them together and made it work very well in a way that I have not seen from other episodes, and I liked that a lot. I'm really liking that Emma is the shake and bake to this whole town, and I'm really enjoying her progression as a character and I think that she's starting to come on her own. I kind of predicted what I thought was gonna happen in this episode, and a lot of my predictions ended up being right, because it's a pretty obvious storyline, and maybe that's why I liked it too, is because it didn't feel so convoluted that it was like blam, 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 blam. But in this one, it felt nice and flowy, that it wasn't just all this herky-jerky, here's a plotline, here's a plotline, we all get plotline! And I think that's why I liked this one a lot better. We had another big reveal. The queen told the huntsman that she told Snow White a secret and Snow White blabbed it. So, I'm thinking this. I think that the queen was knocking boots with someone, and she told Snow White that she really loved this person, not the king who she was married to. And Snow White told the king, who got pissed at Regina and was gonna leave her, but then she killed him instead. That is what I think. But who knows, I may be totally wrong. But that's my theory. I'm excited to see where the future of this show is gonna go, and I really like this episode, and I hope that more episodes end up like this, where we have flashbacks that correspond with what's going on in the present, and I cannot wait to continue to pursue this show and find out what happens next. So thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you guys all next week. Please leave your comments on what your impressions were of this episode if you are following along with me, because I know there are a couple of you who are kind of watching the show as I'm watching it, and I appreciate all of you, and I love every single one of you for doing that. So please leave me a message, and I will see you guys all tomorrow with another video, and I will see you guys all next week with the next episode review. I spoke really fast in that last exit. I'm getting better at this. Hopefully I can talk without my words going bleh. Peace out. You take a mouse. Cool.